Charles Martin is acting like he's got his mojo back. He's strung a few wins together. And now he started calling out the guy who gave him his first career defeat and relieved him of his IBF heavyweight title in the second round. Humiliated him, really. And that's Anthony Joshua. So I'm going to quote the man who once claimed to walk the earth like a god, Charles Martin. He said the following, quote, "That's all I'm thinking about. When I'm in here training, I'm training for Anthony Joshua. I want to knock Anthony Joshua out. That's how it goes when so many people write you off and the world writes you off and then everybody is criticizing you about it. It just fuels you more to want to get back and climb all the way back up the ladder and face the man that started all that so-and-so for you." He was very scared to engage, and now he's talking about Anthony Joshua in the Andy Ruiz rematch. He says he was very scared to engage. He didn't engage at all. He ran, he boxed, he moved. And that wasn't even his style. He lost all that weight and stuff like that because he knew, but I don't take nothing from him. He's a good dude, a stand-up guy, but he's scared to get punched. He's scared to be in the trenches. I know with somebody that can punch, he won't be the same. He's going to be pretty wary. That's the only reason why I'm here. That was not me, man. It was crazy. So I have to get back. I don't feel right. It doesn't sit right with me. I'm still here and I'm going for Joshua. I don't care about no other fight. I'm going for Joshua. At the end of the day, that's who I want to fight. That's who I want to knock out. Andy got to him before me, but he seems pretty gun shy. I can't wait to punch him in the head. Unquote. Those are the words of Prince Charles Martin. Now, again, I always talk about correlations or, similarities between what goes on now in the heavyweight division and stuff that used to go on in the 90s, because I do see a lot of similarities between the two eras. And whenever you get one of these fighters who gets knocked off, it's like all their rivals smell blood and think, okay, he's vulnerable now. He's not the guy he used to be. I'm going to get him. And in some instances, yes, they do end up getting the guy. But in other instances, they end up walking into a knockout themselves. Will Charles Martin find himself on the wrong end of another knockout defeat if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua again? Are certain fighters going to get a bit too overconfident against AJ? And as I say, walk into punches. Because Vladimir Klitschko, when he suffered several knockout defeats, he said that when he started, going back into training camps and they were bringing sparring partners over, these guys were far more aggressive in sparring after Vlad got knocked out a couple times than they were prior. And he said he used to have to prove himself in the gym in sparring all the time. And he had to do that for a good couple years until he got his run back together where he was defending the title multiple times and knocking people out. Then all of a sudden, when the sparring partners came to, get in the ring with him in the gym, they weren't so gung-ho, So it's probably the same with Anthony Joshua in sparring, and it will probably be the same for him in his next few fights, with opponents being way more confident, thinking he's chinny, thinking they can get to him, thinking he's scared to engage. So we'll see how long Anthony Joshua's gun-shy mindset stays for. It might not stay for very long. I mean, Lennox Lewis was gun-shy when he got knocked out by Oliver McCall, and that's where I was going with the 90s comparison. Lewis was gun-shy when he got knocked out by McCall. And I want to say he was gun-shy for a little while. He came back against Lionel Butler. He was very gun-shy in that fight. He then fought Justin Fortune. And was he gun-shy? Maybe a little. That fight got stopped early. I think it was the third or fourth round he stopped Justin Fortune. Then he fought Tommy Morrison. And although he stopped Morrison and he did it in good fashion, again, he wasn't overly aggressive. So there was still a little element there of being slightly gun-shy. It took Lewis a while before he completely shook off that Oliver McCall defeat. It probably took him to get back in the ring with Oliver McCall and beat him in the rematch. After that, Lewis seemed to get, a little more confident. The Ray Mercer fight, where he took a hell of a lot of shots and was in a real tough fight in the trenches, I think gave Lewis a lot more confidence in his chin. The Holyfield fights, obviously. And really late on in Lewis's career, Manny Stewart said this, it wasn't until late on that Lewis really started believing in himself, like 100%. And then we saw that with the rematch of Hasim Rahman, because he was badly knocked out in the first fight, but in the rematch, he wasn't gun shy at all. But again, that was a process that Lewis had to go through, because he was very gun shy when he got knocked out by McCall. But by the time he got knocked out by Rahman, he had been through the mental rehabilitation, so he was able to do it instantaneously after the Rahman defeat. So Anthony Joshua, we'll see what he's made of. We'll see how long it takes him to get the full confidence back, to be happy to trade in the pocket with people. You know, how long will those demons linger on in his subconscious? I suspect that by the time Charles Martin gets a rematch of Anthony Joshua, Joshua probably will have exercised those demons by then. Maybe I'm wrong, but I suspect he probably will, in which case Charles Martin's probably in for more of the same as he got in the first fight. Although I do think Charles Martin's improved since the first fight. I think AJ's improved as well, but I think Charles Martin's improved. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Will we see a bizarre turn of events with Charles Martin getting revenge over AJ? Or will it be a repeat of what happened the first time, albeit maybe take AJ slightly longer? And in terms of what Martin is doing, calling AJ out, going down the IBF route, sounding very confident, talking about wanting to knock him out, he should be doing that. You know, I don't want to see people criticizing Martin and, you know, ridiculing him and all this kind of stuff. I mean, maybe they think that he's crazy and delusional and he's not going to be able to knock AJ out. But isn't that what you want a fighter to do in terms of trying to redeem themselves against the guy who beat them? That's what you want to see a fighter do, right? It's not like it's an immediate rematch. Charles Martin has built himself back up again. So he should be trying to go after the guy, shouldn't he? If he really wants to be the best in the world, go after the guy who beat you. Particularly when he's, you know, one of the heavyweight champions of the world. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, people. What's happening? I'm out.